Welcome to the Catholic Sobriety Podcast Minisode. These shorter episodes provide quick tips and information that you can refer back to when you need it most, so you can achieve and maintain your desired level of sobriety. I am your sobriety coach and host of this podcast, Christy Walker. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to this week's minisode. Today's question comes from a listener who left this question for me in Buzzsprout fan mail. You can also send me your questions by going to my show notes if you're listening to the podcast, or you can go find my podcast. There will be a link that says send a text. So you can submit your questions to me through that link, and maybe I will answer them on a future episode. All right, let's get into today's question. First, I need to put my reading glasses on for those of you who are watching on YouTube. Now, I will never, just as a caveat, I will not mention name or where the person's from. I'm just simply going to read the question. Hi, new listener here. I've been doing really good, but last night I came home after helping with a retreat and my husband made the best lasagna, and I was really wanting white wine. Thankfully, I didn't have any chilled. Is there a non-alcoholic wine you would recommend? Are they all just full of other toxic ingredients? Thanks in advance. Let me first answer by saying this. When I used to drink, I rarely drank wine unless that was the only thing around. So I am not by any stretch of the imagination a wine connoisseur, but I do enjoy a glass of non-alcoholic wine every once in a while. I do have a couple of brands that I like, but I encourage you to do your own research. There are so many really high quality non-alcoholic wine brands out there. One of them that I found is Joyous. They have several different varieties. One of my favorites is a sparkling rosé, but they have a white wine and a red wine as well. I haven't had all of them. Another brand that I found, I did do a little bit of research and I found a brand called Shirley. It's Surely. And that brand or that wine comes actually in cans and also bottles. And they say that they have less sugar, not very much sugar. I think it said 1 to 6 grams of sugar. And then the calories on it were like 30 to 40 calories. You can look them up. I have never had it before, so I can't speak to the tastiness, but from their website, it looks great. Another one that I haven't had, but I've heard a lot of people talk about is Odd Bird. So that's kind of on my to try list after I get through the Joyous ones that I have. Whether or not you should supplement with a non-alcoholic wine is completely up to you. I don't think that there's ever any problem with it unless it triggers you into wanting more, or it triggers you into going and opening a bottle of the real stuff or buying it. So just be aware of that. For most of us, when we choose a non-alcoholic version of whatever we like, whether that's wine or beer or spirits or champagne, we are usually pretty much good with having like a glass or two. It's not usually a thing to be like, oh, I have to drink the whole bottle of it unless you're afraid of wasting it. But really look at the labels, the serving sizes, and stick to that if you're concerned with the calories, the sugar, or where the ingredients come from. So that just differs from brand to brand. You can do some research on that and see what you find. If you find one that you love, please let me know. I'm always up for trying different things. In my town, we have a store called Total Wine. They have a lot of non-alcoholic beverages, wines, spirits, and beer, and it's growing all the time. If it's triggering for you to go in there, you might want to ask your spouse or a friend to go in and pick you up something. They can take a picture and you can decide what you want, or maybe FaceTime with them so they can show you. But if it's not an issue for you, you can go in there. Like I'll go in with my husband. Sometimes he's looking for a unique beer that he hasn't had before. And so I'll go in and look at the non-alcoholic offerings, and I'm always so surprised at how it just continues to grow, which I guess is a really great thing because it just means there's more and more of us who are looking to reduce or eliminate alcohol so that we feel better. So my action step for you is try it. Maybe get a bottle of white wine. Make sure that you have a delicious lasagna or Italian food or whatever you like to eat with that pairing, and just try it out and see if that kind of hits the spot for you. If you do it and you think it's disappointing and you keep trying different ones and it's still just not for you, then maybe it's not for you. But I think there's enough variety out there that you should be able to find something you will like. Just know it's not going to taste exactly like your favorite white wine, red wine, or whatever you like to drink. I hope that's helpful. Don't forget to send in your questions. I'll be using questions that I get from my clients, questions people ask me online, and of course, your questions that you submit through the send a text link in my show notes. Well, that wraps up today's episode of the Catholic Sobriety Minisode. Thank you so much for joining me, and please be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss a thing. And remember, I am here for you. I am praying for you. You are not alone.